Hi, my name's Rob Scott from UC Today. Hope you're doing well. So today I'm joined by Micah Singer, who's the Managing Director of Teammate Technology, and Andy Singleton, Director of Product Development at Clearspan Communications. And we're going to be exploring how to connect your existing phone system to Microsoft Teams using Teammate middleware, and how to ensure your business and users get the desired results. So welcome everybody.
Thanks, Rob.
Good to be here with you, Rob.
Yeah, good to see you. Thanks for joining me. I'm looking forward to today's session. However, just before we dive in, how about we just do a quick round of introductions? Micah, would you like to go first?
Absolutely, yeah. My name is Micah Singer. I'm the Managing Director, as Rob said, of Teammate Technology. Teammate provides interoperation and normalization between Microsoft Teams on one hand and PBX and external communication systems on the other. That's been our focus since inception in the last 3 years.
Thanks. And Andy?
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Andy Singleton, like you said, Director of Product Development with Clearspan. Clearspan is about a 40-year-old startup is what we call it. And the reason that is about a year and a half ago, Clearspan was spun out of Mitel as part of some new investment from Searchlight Capital Partners. They've infused a lot of capital and resources for us to develop new applications and new offerings for our service provider and large organization customers that we have today.
Thanks very much for that, and welcome. So, Microsoft Teams is is leading the market, and its ability to kind of integrate with workflows and collaboration, I suppose, and seamlessly connecting with the wider Microsoft 365 ecosystem. As we enter 2022, Teams as a fully fledged phone system is a popular move for organizations, but it's not without its challenges. So successfully implementing a Microsoft Teams phone system requires a migration strategy that minimizes risk and delivers a consistent employee and customer experience. So in this session, we're going to explore how to connect your existing phone system platform to Microsoft Teams with Teammate middleware, and how to ensure your business and users get the best possible results. So to kick things off, Micah, first of all, why do companies choose to keep their existing phone system over moving to a Microsoft Teams full telephony platform?
Yeah, so there's two really high-level reasons that companies make that choice. And say one is existing phone systems usually have quite a bit of complexity, and the larger the organization, the harder it is to make that move. So your existing phone system does things that Microsoft Teams might not do, or it's really hard to replicate elsewhere. That's one. The second is really support. When you make the decision to move to Microsoft as your phone system, you really don't have an active support organization that you can rely on. And even small organizations, and especially big, rely on that support.
That's interesting. And Andy, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, especially to add on to that with our large organizations that we cater to. If you look at our customer base trying to move to a fully Teams platform, a lot of the challenges are they've got thousands and thousands of handsets on their desk that may not be compatible with Teams. They've got very complex routing in a lot of cases, and have specific needs for call centers and those sort of things that are just sometimes a challenge to fully replicate. Even if you could replicate it, the challenge is how you're going to migrate 30, 40, 50,000 users. It's going to take years. If you can just take the Teams technology and extend that to your PBX, that seems to be the sweet spot for our customers who are really looking for assistance.
Yeah, some good points there, though. Complexity, compatibility, cost, I suppose. Sometimes you're just fully invested in a PBX platform, especially if you've just done that recently. I imagine moving to a cloud platform or Microsoft Teams native platform is not the best move for the business. So, yeah, lots of good reasons there. So let's talk about connecting these worlds together. First of all, Micah, what are the benefits of integrating an existing phone system with Microsoft Teams using middleware like Teammate?
Yeah, so there are more manual ways of doing the integration with Teams, and Microsoft's put out some versions, Operator Connect notably, to help with the integration of SIP trunks. But when it comes to PBXs, there's really a lot of moving parts. I always say that Microsoft Office 365, your organization these things, you don't just spin them up to add the PBX. I mean, usually you've been using this for quite a while. There's a lot of complexity. There's Active Directory syncs. And to really connect this very active system with lots of settings to your external PBX, which also is a very active system with lots of settings, requires a technology partner. And we make middleware. We focus on that technology. I mean, I always say that the things Andy knows and the things that operators know and do, that's not our sweet spot. Our sweet spot is just linking these technologies, and we really rely on these partners that like Clearspan that know that side of it. So I think it really takes a village to make this work together.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, Andy, from your perspective, a partner of Teammates, you've used this software. What are the kind of big benefits to your customers and to your engineers, I suppose, connecting these systems together?
Yeah, thanks. So we looked about, I'd say about a year ago at starting to connect our customers in various ways. We did a little bit of kind of manual configuration with our own session border controllers. But it is, like Micah says, it's pretty tricky. There's a lot of complexities around it. Certain things may not work as expected unless you do some better, tighter integration. And so, there's really, a couple of options. We can go try to build what Micah and crew have spent a few years building and focus on, really partner with Microsoft. That's not really our business. Our business is enabling customers with whatever collaboration client they may want to use, whether it's Teams or other. So we evaluated Teammates over a year ago, and there's some special kind of unique things about them with some custom applications that we integrated with and APIs that really enabled us to activate and fulfill our customers, what they were looking for with Teams integration very, very quickly.
Yeah, so I suppose it's not time to market, it's more kind of speed of deployment then, isn't it? Having the middleware there and enabling you to kind of tackle these complex kind of environments. It sounds to me, Andy, like, it's really helped you kind of to make that an efficient process. Would you agree? Absolutely.
Because we've got a pretty significant development staff, but we're really focused on, what new features and functions can we get to service providers around the market, or what we can get to our large, state and local governments. And it was, time to market and ease for our operations to enable such a service really lent well to what Teammates has done.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, I was going to add to that. I mean, just, I think Andy gave us a lot of credit there, but I think really it's knowing what you want to do with the integration. So Clearspan's really been clear on what they want to do, and they've integrated via APIs, as Andy mentioned, and that integration allows them to be really concise in the provisioning, and and it's really made all the difference in that speed and ease of onboarding. So planning ahead of time, building tools for via API integration, all make the experience a lot better.
Yeah, and I would add to that the troubleshooting capabilities, in there between, the connectivity to Teammates and what we can see on our side, that visibility, when we try to do a lot of this stuff our own with just, a SIP trunk off of our session border controllers, a lot of that, ease of visibility was lost, or was not as easy to get to, I would say. It's not lost, not as easy to get to. So Teammates has really helped us with that, and our customers as well, with that visibility.
I mean, we talk a lot about employee experience nowadays, don't we? And customer experience, especially. We've been talking about that for years. But, it really feels like it's like the experience economy nowadays. And making sure you've got tight, seamless, value-added integration between Microsoft Teams and your phone system must be a top priority for a lot of organizations. I mean, Micah, I know you add some additional value in there. I mean, when organizations kind of compare these two models, how do they see these benefits straight away? Do they see how easy it is and all that additional value, in the solution?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, and it really it varies depending on who the end user organization is. I think a lot of companies are relieved that they can use the soft phone in Microsoft Teams and activate it, and it, behaves on their PBX like any other soft phone or hard phone with registration. And that's a sense of relief. Wow, okay, we can keep using Teams and have this phone right in there. I think really where it gets exciting and user adoption is more impacted is when you do a bit more than that. And what we've really tried to focus from the beginning on tools for user experience. So what are tools for user experience? I mean, Microsoft Teams has an app store and allows you to build custom apps, and there's all kinds of hooks, and there's a web app or there's a SDK for building these apps, and really what you put in those apps can make a huge difference. Or if you don't do it, it won't make a difference. And in this case, I mean, one reason why why Clearspan's been a great partner is they've really started to take advantage and use the app to do a lot more to please the user.
Andy, talk us through that from your perspective. I mean, that additional value. What kind of could you provide a couple of examples in terms of kind of how that works?
Absolutely. So a couple of very targeted examples that we've developed. One is using the application generation capability out of Teammates, and this allows us to provide an app to an enterprise, in their native Teams application. What we heard from customers, in all different areas of the business is we want our end users to have a Teams experience. We don't want to be leaving Teams and logging into other systems. So what we allowed them to do with the application basically was have access to, say, a call center, application. So for agents can log in and log out right into a Teams application. So without leaving the Teams environment, and we leverage the capability to pre-authenticate them. So, as a user, I just navigate to Teams, click on my call center, and then I can modify, my status. The second big application that we heard, mainly from our universities, is the ability to text using your office number, SMS texting. And the use case for that one very specifically is, if I'm a professor and I want to communicate with all the students nowadays, they don't talk on the phone, they just want to text. We don't want to give the professor's mobile device number out to the students all over the campus, so they want to text to and from the Teams optimally. So with Teammates, they provide an SMS application, and we've deployed that out to where, in fact, students and teachers can communicate via the Teams interface and Teams numbers, but also allows auditing on the backside. As an administrator of the platform, I can go back and look and see what communications have taken place between student and teachers, and that's important as well for any kind of on down the road type of questions or conflict, that sort of thing. But it allows our customer base and our customers' users to stay natively within Teams for many different applications, and this has been very important to us.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. You're building that bridge between kind of platforms, but you're not taking anything away. You're transferring features across to the new platform and providing that consistent UX, as Micah, you mentioned a moment ago. I think that's really important. And adding value, of course, with APIs and everything, and apps and everything else it can do. So in terms of going, implementation, how long, Micah, does something like this take to get up and running? And, what advice would you give, our viewers exploring this type of solution?
Yeah, I mean, it can be, the great news is it can happen quite quickly. So we see, from logging in to making a phone call as little as 10 minutes. It can take a lot longer too. So what you need to do is pre-plan. I think for some of the larger implementations, planning the Microsoft licensing and making sure you have the prerequisites on the Microsoft side, they're set up, making sure you have all the information from the PBX or the external communication system is crucial. So planning is key, and that really dictates the timeline. Of course, you don't always control the Microsoft Office Enterprise, so sometimes settings have to change and other things have to happen. Really, it's sort of our job to make sure you know about these things ahead of time so you can do your planning. One thing we're announcing actually today is integration with AppSource Marketplace. And the idea there is all about getting people to be able to instantly activate as quickly as possible without having to, jump through any hoops. So the goal is as quick as possible. The reality is, Andy will tell you, it takes some planning.
Yeah, that's good advice. And Andy, anything to add on?
Yeah, exactly right. So what we typically see is, especially with the large customers, is running through, normal change control takes a little bit of time. Normalizing the licenses, making sure your directory is clean for Microsoft side, going through security planning and getting all the change control has been important. But the actual activation of this is pretty impressive. We typically are able to pre-stage everything, so it's very predictable. That's one nice thing about this. Rather than integrating with customers directly with their equipment, it's very predictable with what we've got, repeatable with teammates. So our operations can stage everything. We're ready to go, and then we have a call with the customer on and their domain admins, and we're able to activate right there, online. And typically, these guys are placing phone calls within 10, 15 minutes of activation. But there is that pre-planning piece. But again, what a big important thing for us is, especially for operations, is predictable and repeatable, configuration steps. And, that goes back to if we were doing this a different route, maybe directly integrating with customers, equipment or SBCs on-prem, it wouldn't be predictable. It would change for every customer. And that obviously poses a challenge for operations.
That's some great advice. And Andy, how successful has the partnership been between Teammate and Clearspan?
I'd say very, very successful. We've got thousands and thousands of customers up and running now. We've had very good feedback and very impressed with the time to market. And folks are very excited about the two applications and that we're extending out with the call center and the SMS piece. A lot of our large customers also self-administer their own, telecommunications platform. Since we tied into Teammates with APIs for provisioning, our customers are now able to take their normal processes back in the telecommunications group and activate, thousands of customers at a time without having to navigate to a different portal. And that was also important, was to make sure our customers didn't have to change their processes or mode of activation, bringing this to market.
Yeah, that's truly fantastic. Micah, for anyone looking to get in touch, what's the best way?
Yeah, absolutely. Get in touch with us on our website. There's multiple opportunities to drop us a line, and we're really responsive. It's teammatetechnology.com. It's a mouthful. I always throw it out there that I'm happy to take requests directly to me as well. We're still 15-person company, so you come right to me at Micah, MICAH at teammatetechnology.com, and you'll hear back.
Absolutely. Well, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today. However, if you're interested in finding out more, there are some links in the description as mentioned. Thanks, Micah and Andy. Good to see you.
Thanks, Rob.
Great chatting with you, Rob.
And thanks to everyone for watching UCTV. If you've got some good takeaways from today's session, do give us a quick mention on social and subscribe to our channel for more industry news and insights. I'm Rob Scott from UC Today. Thanks for watching.